Welcome to an American Homestead, podcasting live from deep within the Ozark Mountains at an elevation of 2,200 feet. It's 7:30 Central, 8:30 Eastern, and it's good to be back. What a crazy week we've had so far. I got to watch some of the show a little bit yesterday. Mostly I just watched what people commentated about, because commentators are the most fun than actually watching the real thing. And the comments below, usually said commentators, are always more fun. So this is the world we're living in today, and you know what? The other day today we're going to start answering questions. I'm getting lots of questions from people, and I want to start looking at those questions from patrons and addressing some of their homestead concerns, because some of them are really good. And so that's what we're going to do the show on tonight. And I got a lot to share with you guys. I've had a busy week so far. It's almost over. It's Thursday. And so we're going to get started. Most of these questions are from my patrons. Okay, there's a few that aren't, but most of these are from patrons. If you're interested in that, you can go to patreon.com/AnAmericanHomestead, and you can see all of the stuff that's over there. I just posted another video today, because what I did today, I often say about the homestead, there's poop on my boots, because much of the time when I'm out there walking around, actually physically out there instead of working in the house, because now I have to split so much of my time, homeschooling and making meals and all this stuff, I have poop on my boots. And today I definitely have poop on my boots, because I went and got rabbit manure. Here in Northwest Arkansas, there is one single place where you can go and you can get as much rabbit manure as you possibly want. And rabbit manure is like the best thing you can put in your garden to have a very successful first year garden. So for someone who's looking to have that first year, because the soil in Northwest Arkansas and Southwest Missouri is clay. This part of most of the Ozarks, but this part of the Ozarks especially, it's clay and it's heavy rock, and it's hard to have a good first year garden. And even if you start to amend the soil, putting compost, composting straw and wood chips, or lots of other things that you can get, it's going to take you a couple years to get that soil, and the microbes and everything in that soil to optimal capacity to where you can actually really grow some great stuff. But if you put rabbit manure on there, first year garden, it'll be phenomenal. It'll be absolutely phenomenal. So I posted a video of where that location is over at my Patreon page. It's for patrons only. You have to be a patron to get that. I'll mention it a couple times in the video, because one of the questions from someone tonight we're going to read on air is talking about first year gardens. So we'll talk about that again, and also I'll mention it at the end of the video. So patreon.com/AnAmericanHomestead. There's a video up there that shows the location, the address, phone number, everything you need to know about that, where you can go if you're in Northwest Arkansas or if you're in Southwest Missouri. I know we have a large audience. You guys are in the Ozarks. A lot of you guys are in the Ozarks. Not all y'all, but there's a lot of people who watch who are in the Ozarks. And so if you're in the vicinity of Northwest Arkansas, Southwest Missouri, this is easy driving distance for you guys to go get some of that rabbit manure. And we'll talk more about that later. But also, we're going to be doing some questions, and I got some mail stuff here I want to show you. I ordered some things online that's going to be pertinent to one of the questions that we have here tonight. So let's just jump in and get started. And hey, everybody in the chat. People were telling me that that there's like a super chat option in here. I don't know how they do that. I tried to Google it, and I looked at some stuff online. I couldn't find a place to turn it on. I think it's turned on. I don't know, but people are asking about it. So as far as I know, it's enabled. I've never done it before. We'll see if it happens, but I'll try to check back and see. All right. Zach's shirt. So if you want this, everyone ask about the stupid shit hurt, because really, come on, in the world we live in today, stupid shit hurt. The world is the way it is right now because stupid doesn't hurt enough. What am I drinking? It's the Paul d'Arco again. I need to order me some more. I really wanted the Ticino coffee, the dandelion tea, because I really like that stuff. But I don't have any right now. I'm all out. I'm going to have to order some more. Hello from Central Texas. Tell me where you guys are at. Portugal. Awesome. Portugal, Texas, Northwest Arkansas, Canada. Someone's from Canada. Oh, thank you, Christine. Chris. Thank you for the super chat. It does work. Okay, people were asking about it. I'm like, I don't know. Florida. April from Florida. Houston, rural Texas, Ozarks, Illinois. I mean, yeah, Nazi Germany. That's basically about right, Illinois. So there's a lot. All right, good to see a lot of folks are here. Hit the like button, guys. If you haven't done that already, make sure you do that right now. I really appreciate it. Oklahoma, Northeast Ohio, Pam from Delaware, Virginia, Colorado, North Carolina, another one from Canada, Kansas, Wisconsin, Beeville, soon to be Arkansas, NYC, New York City, Georgia, Texas, Northern Utah, Wyoming, Illinois, Shalom from Massachusetts, Colorado, Australia, KC, Missouri, Cabot, Arkansas. All right, we got a lot of folks in here tonight. Hit the like button. Hit that like button. Do it right now. Right now. Right now. All right, let's move on over to the questions that we're going to start with tonight. And the first one, so here's the questions we're going to talk about tonight. So just so you're tuning in, you're like, what's he going to talk about? I want to know right now. So here's what we're going to talk about tonight. All right, here's what the questions that have been sent in revolve around. How to keep deer out of your garden and just general off-grid questions. What can we do to make a steady income, okay, on the homestead? What to do about gophers and garden soil. You know, what kind of garden soil is good, and we'll talk more about the rabbit manure again. Is sassafras illegal? Where did we get the hooks for our lanterns that we use in the house? You know, some good, strong hooks. And what I think are the best work clothes for homesteading. And I just ordered some more of those. Right there, I got 2 packages we're going to open. I'm going to show you at the end of the video what are, in fact, the best clothes for working on a homestead. And I think you might be surprised. So I got 2 of these to open tonight. I'll open them with you guys. So, all right, first question is this one. Hi, Zach. My husband and I bought a cabin west of Melbourne, Arkansas. Excuse me, I got a little bit of a sniffle. It's the Rona. I'd like to plant gardens, but our game cams show deer, wild boar, and more. Yeah, you're definitely in Arkansas. I'm wondering if the deer will eat our gardens and if we should invest in deer fencing. What do you do to keep animals away from your garden? I can't show you that on YouTube. Also, can we hire you to do consultations? We have never tried to go off-grid before, and I really want to get my water off-grid. Should we go solar, get a hand pump? Also, we have 3 ponds for livestock watering. Should we tap into those? Do you have any videos you'd recommend for starting and going off-grid? So there's a lot to cover in that. Yeah, first question. This is from Arissa. Okay, so first part of the question, deer in gardens. I do know people in the area who put like 8-foot tall fences around their gardens because really it's going to take like a 7 to 8 foot fence to keep deer out of your garden. If you're around here and you want to keep deer out of your garden, there's just no way to do it except for like, you know, a Berlin Wall type structure. Okay, it's just not going to happen because deer can leap, and if they want to get somewhere, they will get there. It's like an Olympic sport to them. Oh, look, a new fence I can jump over. So with that in mind, there are ways you can keep the deer away. There are different devices, mechanical, electrical devices you can do to keep deer away. There's different scents. People say every time you cut your hair, collect the hair and put the hair around your garden. That keeps them away. I don't know how any of these, how well these work. The reality is, you know, if you're in a place where, well, there are ways to keep the deer out of the garden. The deer need to understand that this is not a safe place. And that's all I'm going to say about that. And then if you really becomes desperate and you're not in a place where you feel comfortable about making it a dangerous place for the deer, then contact your local, what's the game wardens, your conservation department, and ask them for, it's called a depredation permit, I think. And you can use that to eliminate a deer. If you have a problem deer who's really causing a lot of problems, sometimes they'll grant those for deer in gardens. Sometimes they won't. It's really up to the warden in your area. At least in our area it is. I've been granted a depredation permit for a couple times because of bobcats killing our chickens. So it's just up to the warden in your area. Again, there's lots of devices out there, but here's the deal. If a deer wants to get in that garden, he's going to get in that garden. And you ain't going to be there at 2 a.m. to make sure he's not in that garden, unless you have like 8 foot tall fences around that garden. So that's it for that. Consultations. I don't really do consultations because I don't have the time. I'm so busy in my day, and I just can't schedule stuff like that. I can't schedule anything else. I know there's a lot of people who've asked me, people who've even wanted to pay my expenses to come out and stay like a week on their homestead and just point out different things that would be helpful to them, or to just sit around the table and talk with them and answer all their questions. And so I just can't. I can't. But you're not the first person who's asked. Water off grid. So here's how we do our water. Think of it as PACE. You have primary, alternative, what's the other one? PACE, primary, alternative, and emergency. What's the C? What's the C? I'm going to put it, anybody can think of the chat. PACE, I forgot what it stands for. It's on the tip of my tongue. I can't. Anyway, you have basically 4 options for water. What's your primary source for water? What's your alternative source for water? What's your source for water? And what's your emergency source for water? And our primary is rain catchment. So we have giant rain catchment tanks out there, and those rain tanks gather water, and they 1,500 gallon tanks and all that rain catchment, and it's soft water. So contingent, yes, thank you. Contingency, contingent, yeah, that's probably it, I think. Contingency, yeah. So so if you're gonna drill down in the ground, you're gonna get hard water, and man, we did that, and it's kind of hard on your skin. It's definitely hard on your hair, and it's actually probably really good to drink because it's got so many minerals. But the minerals are what's hard sometimes. It's called hard water, and then it builds up all kinds of residue in places. The rain catchment is much more softer. It's night and day difference. So I would use rain catchment if you're going to do off-grid water, and that's what we do. We do have backup wells. We have a well that was dug back in the 1850s on the homestead here right next to the houses, and we have a well that we drilled when we first moved here. And so we have 2. Those are our alternative. And then we have a contingency, which is the pond water. And if we really need an emergency water source, we have different other ponds in the area we could go to, or streams even if we needed to. And we have pumps that we can pump into a tank that we could put in the back of a pickup truck. So that would be like an emergency. But we have primary, alternative, contingency, and emergency. PACE when it comes to water. And so if it was up to me, it is up to me. That's why we did it. We did rain catchment. I like rain catchment, and I'll probably keep doing that for forever. And at some point, I'd like to hook up a pump to that to pressurize the water through the house and have showers and everything on. I mean, that's all possible. We can do that. It's on the list of things to do. And my list is a mile long, but it's on my list of things to do. Let's see. Should we do solar? Here's the deal about solar. If you want to do solar, start off doing solar. Don't go on grid and plan to do solar later, because it'll never happen. You'll never do it. You'll be hooked, and you'll never cut that wire. It just won't. So I think if you want to do solar, go ahead and do solar. If you want a hand pump, you mentioned hand pump in your article or in your question. The hand pump we used was the Simple Pump. It's a company, it's a brand named Simple Pump. Very simple, but it only works down to about 200 feet. So it depends on how deep your well is. Some people have really deep wells, so it won't work for all circumstances. So do your own research on that. I think there's another one called the Buffalo or something like that. But there's some really good hand pumps out there, really quality ones. But Simple Pump is the one we went with. And they do have a mechanical hookup that you can use with solar for that. And we have that. We just never used it. But right now, I don't think we'll ever go back to well water unless we have to. I like having the rainwater catchment. We have about a 5,000 gallon capacity on our homestead for rain catchment in different places around the homestead for different things. We have tanks for the animals. We have tanks for the garden. We have tanks for people who visit when they camp out here during the fall feast. We have the tanks for the houses. So there's tanks everywhere, about a 5,000 gallon capacity on the homestead. So you just start small and you build up, and you put tanks on every single roof. Every outbuilding has a tank attached to it, and that way you have all that water. In emergency, it's there. You can just use it, and you filter it if you're going to be using it for drinking or whatever. Ponds for water. Yeah, that's part of PACE. It's probably our contingency. We have ponds here on the homestead. So if If our primary goes out and our alternative goes out, I can't imagine that would ever happen, but if it did, we'd have our pond water that you could use. And what you want to do is you want to get one of those nice pumps. It's like, good sized pumps like 950 gallons per minute, something like that. You can stick it in the back of a pickup truck. You can go put a small, tank IBC tote in the back of the pickup truck, and you could pump water with the hoses that you have from those ponds or wherever your water source is into the truck and then take it off to where you need to go. But we have 2 pumps because 2 is one is none, right? Videos for starting off grid. All right, so we have a playlist. I believe it's called Homesteading 101, and some of that is related to off-grid. The biggest advice I can tell you when it comes to living off-grid is make sure that your spouse is on board. If your spouse is not 100% full bore ahead on board with this, watch out. It could be problems because it's going to be stressful. It's going to be hard. Okay, it's going to be difficult. There's going to be times where you just like point your hair out and be like, what in the world did I do? So you have to have that person who can lift you up and be your teammate. And, at the times where you're struggling, she can lift you up or you can lift her up or whatever. So have a spouse who's on board. If you have a spouse who's fighting you along the way, or if you have grown children who are fighting you along the way, it's like unplugging from the matrix. They reach a certain age, you shouldn't unplug from the matrix. It's the same thing. When you reach a certain age, you shouldn't unplug from the grid unless you really, 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 really want to take that red pill. Okay. Because it's hard. It's tough. There's culture shock involved. Videos for starting off grid. That's it. So there's a playlist. I think it's called Homesteading 101. Check that out. All right, that was a long one because she had a lot of questions in hers. So I hope I went through those as best as I could to help you out. And I'm sorry I don't do consultations. I just can't. Urban Homestead says getting my spouse on board is the hardest part. Yes, I know it is. I read the emails. The spouse is like, not sure about this. Yeah, you don't want to do it. You don't want to jump off that cliff. Yeah. Okay. Hi, Zach. My husband and I have watched your YouTube channel for a few months. Thank you for all the content. You're welcome. We enjoy watching. We too have been moving toward a more self-sufficient life. I am a stay-at-home mom, homeschool the boys, and maintain the house as best I can. My husband works for a state government entity and is already vested. We have worked really hard at watching our pennies and moving away from relying on grocery stores by trying to grow as much food as we can. We are limited to a small garden and a few chickens. We want to get acreage and expand to more meat and larger garden. Can you please give us a little guidance on how to transition away from a steady income and insurance? What do we do to make a steady income? Hold on a second. Hold that thought. I'm going to go turn my heater off because it's blazing in here. Okay. And I just cracked the door too. Whew, it's blazing in here. I'm like, man, it's going to be too hot. Okay. The question is, how do I transition away from steady income and insurance? What do we do to make a steady income? This is like one of the most often questions that we get here on the homestead. And the answer is really simple. We have to switch our mind, our way of thinking to what the world is geared towards, and that is to have one career, one job, and that you work that one career and one job all your life. And you may, jump from different corporations or companies or whatever, doing that one job that you're trained for, but you keep that one job. What do you do for a living? Oh, I'm a nurse, or I'm a lawyer, or I am an accountant, or I'm whatever. You're that person, and that's what you do. Stop that. Stop. What you have to get through your head is that people who live this sort of lifestyle, homesteaders or farmers, even people today, where we live out here, people who've lived here their whole lives, they have multiple streams of revenue. It's good to have like at least half a dozen streams of revenue. Some of them can be primary, some of them can be alternative, contingency, and emergency, but you have these different streams of revenue that are coming in, and sometimes some of them are seasonal, sometimes some of them are all year round. You're making money continually all year round. You make hay, that old phrase, you make hay when the sun is shining, right? So you make hay and you sell hay during the time when you harvest hay, and you sell it for people who are stacking it up for the winter. You may be selling some animals for people, who want to butcher animals and put meat in their freezer for the year. So, and usually butcher in the fall and winter. So you're having multiple revenue streams, and that's what you have to get your mind wrapped around. Here's the kicker, because so many people are like, oh, okay, and they start looking for things, and they fall into the MLM trap, thinking, oh, I can do this. Folks, here's the deal. I might step on some toes here. Hold on. Multi-level marketing schemes, I won't call them scams, because some of them are actually very legitimate. You can make good money on some of these. But most of the MLM opportunities out there require to be successful, to be overwhelmingly successful, require all of your time. They really do. I mean, to be honest with you, the people that I see who are doing MLM and who are doing it good, and there's a few people out there, I have a few friends who do it, and they do really good. I mean, they make a lot of money. A couple of them make a lot of money. They're doing it all the time. It's a hustle, and they hustle. They know how to move, shoot, move, and communicate. They know how to do it. It's a full-time job. So that's what they do. That's their career. That's their job. They don't have multiple streams of revenue. So to take on something like that and think, oh, I can just make it as an extra source of revenue, it does not usually ever work that way. So avoid that trap. That's all I'll say about it. Anyway, multiple streams of revenue. So like, for example, here, I'm a web developer by trade, and I still have web clients that I work for and I do business for. And so people call me, they contact me. Usually I'm not taking new clients, so stop. But I get old clients who have worked with me for years, and they'll call me and they need stuff, and I'll do stuff for them. And so that's a revenue source. I have YouTube, and that's a revenue source. I sell seeds on my website. That's a revenue source. We sell sheep now on our homestead. That's a revenue source. We started doing classes this year for butchering. That's a revenue source. We sold wool at one point. That was a revenue source. There's lots of different options you can use to make revenue. People in the area, they do the same thing. They sell hay. They sell milk. They sell, they do odds and ends jobs. They rent out their tractor, or they have these jobs that they do, multiple revenue streams, and you have to get out of that mindset that you're this or you're that, and that's all you are. This is your career. Forget that. The best way to make it on a homestead is to have multiple revenue streams. So I would suggest trying to come up with like a half a dozen different revenue streams that you can use to make a living. And you have side hustles, and you're always some of them are seasonal, some of them are not, some of them are all year round. But that's how you make it. Okay, to think that I just need to have one job on a homestead. I get so many people who are like, I can't make it. It doesn't work. No, it won't. You have to have multiple revenue streams, and that's how it was historically always done. Okay. Next one, April sends in this. That was from Karen. April says this: I just bought an acre. However, the land is sandy loam and we have gophers. Any advice on how to utilize the land or kill the gophers without going full Caddyshack? Okay, yes. So she has two parts of her question. That was the first part of the question. Yes, you can kill gophers, and the tool, and we have done this before too. Not gophers. We don't have gophers. We have groundhogs. That's it, groundhogs. We have groundhogs, and they call them, a friend of mine, Vaude, he calls them whistle pigs. I never heard that before. He's like, oh yeah, a whistle pig? A what? A whistle pig. And he had explained to me a whistle pig. So every once in a while you see a glimpse of Vaude on one of my videos, usually in the summertime down by the creek. He's an interesting character. Sometimes he watches my videos. So a whistle pig, or we have groundhogs here, but gophers are the same thing. For a gopher, they're smaller. You might want to use, it's called a conibear trap. And it's spelled Conibear. Conibear. And for a gopher, you would want to use a Conibear 110. For a groundhog, something bigger, you'd want to use a Conibear 220 or a 330. If you just search Conibear, Conibear, all one word, Conibear, you will find those traps online, and you can buy them on eBay or maybe even Amazon, who knows. But they're something that trappers often use. and they are very, very effective. You put them over the holes of where your gophers are. You put them over the holes of, you just set them down over the hole, over where the groundhog is, or a fence. If there's a hole in the fence where they're coming through, they dug under, put it right there. It gets them almost every single time. But you want to make sure they have safeties on them. The trick on those is to make sure your safeties are always off when you set the trap. Make sure that's the last thing you do, because if you keep your safeties on and that animal you're trying to catch goes through there and it springs the trap, but the safeties are on so it doesn't kill it, that animal is now wise to what a conibear is, and it will never go through another one again. So just be sure. That's my tip. It's a common thing that always, there's an error. It says there's an error on my stream. Is there an error on my stream? It says viewers will be experiencing buffering. Keeper of the Home says, yep, whistle pig, the nefarious groundhog. Yeah. I never heard that term whistle pig before. It says I'm buffering, so I don't know if I'm buffering. It says everything's looking good. It says green. Anybody else having problems out there? Let me know if you're seeing problems out here. All good. Okay. Everyone's good. Okay. All right. So what was I talking about? Whistle pigs. Yeah, you want to make sure you take the safeties off that thing, because if you leave them on, that animal will never go through another one again. And you've just made your problem a whole lot worse, because that's really the best trap that you have to catch it. There's other traps. You can always shoot it at night if you catch it. But that is, you glitch 1 second and find now. Well, it says right here, am I having problems still? I'm just going to go with it. So the conibear, that's your best thing for tackling the whistle pig or groundhog problem. The other thing she asked is, what do we do in regards to rabbit manure? If I put rabbit manure on my garden, am I okay to have, because she has bad soil, and she wants to know what to amend the soil with. And you can use all kinds of things to amend the soil. I mean, you can do your own research on that. We've had videos on that. But if you want to have a good first-year garden like what April is wanting, then put the rabbit manure on there, and you'll be able to grow anything. It doesn't matter. You'll be able to grow. It's like a your garden you've had for years. Okay, you put the rabbit manure on there. It's perfect. And again, I have a video I just put up today over at patreon.com/AnAmericanHomestead that shows you exactly. There's a moth that just flew in here because I cracked the door. Look, it's a ladybug. There's a ladybug over there. Anyway, the video is over at patreon.com/AnAmericanHomestead. It shows you where exactly to go. I hold up the business card. It's got the phone number and everything on there of the company that is, if you're in Northwest Arkansas or if you're in Southwest Missouri, it's an easy driving distance for you guys. Okay, so I would check it out. You'll be able to get some of that stuff, and your garden will be gold this year. I put it on my garden every year, or not every year, every other year, regardless. So that video is over there at patreon.com. Yes, rabbit manure. That's what you want to do. All right, next question. Hey, Zach, I read that sassafras was illegal. Is this true? This comes around every once in a while. It's not illegal. It's highly frowned upon by the FDA. And if you do your research on sassafras and, where we get root beer and some Cajun spices and some other things that people use in their cooking, you'll find that the sassafras tree is highly medicinal. They discovered, I think in the 1960s, that it cures syphilis and gonorrhea. The root does, like making natural root beer. The root is good for curing syphilis and gonorrhea. And the FDA does not want you using natural cures for things. They want you to use their drugs. And so what happened was, in the 1970s, they came out with this study that that the sassafras tree and its ingredients cause cancer. And the way they did that was they pumped a bunch of rats with enormous amounts of this sassafras, and they fell over dead. And they said, oh, they died of cancer. We should all stay away from that stuff. And they published the study. But people who went back and looked at the study said, you gave it it'd be like you eating, I don't know, drinking a quart of motor oil, something you're not supposed to drink anyway. totally, I don't know, what's something, carrots. You can die from eating carrots. If you eat too many carrots, I think you can die from eating carrots. I think people have died from eating carrots. Normally, carrots are fine for you. They're healthy. But if you eat too much of them, people have died from drinking too much water. So basically, they killed a bunch of rats and said, oh, they died of cancer. You should stay away from that. Sassafras is not illegal, but the FDA highly frowns upon you using it. And it is illegal to use it in commercially mass-produced products. So the only way it's illegal is if you use it in commercially mass-produced products. If you use it on your homestead, if you make root beer out of it, if you make something that's going to be selling under cottage laws, at the local farmer's market or whatever, it's probably going to be okay. If you sell it, you're never going to get, a Sassafras product into Walmart, okay? It's just not, because the FDA does not allow that. So, okay, so I highly recommend making root beer out of actual sassafras. It's great. It's phenomenal. It tastes fabulous, fantastic. So, if you have sassafras trees, go dig one up. I will say their roots are hard to dig up, though. I mean, it's good if you have a dozer or something like that. Okay. Okay, next question. Can you share where you purchased your hooks that hold your lanterns? Now it's getting cold in here. Let me go close my door. One thing or another. Okay. This is off-grid homesteading, okay? I have a battery bank, but it's like cold. It's wintertime. There's no central heat. It's either the propane heater it's a kerosene heater. Okay. Can you share where you purchased your hooks that hold your lanterns? This should be a simple find, and for whatever reason, we are only finding junk or hooks that are too small. So the key, people have asked us this before too. So we see the lanterns that are hanging around the house in the videos, and they're like, those are really nice. I really like the way you have the lanterns displayed in your home. Where do you get the hooks for that? You want to find the hooks that will hold up potted plants, because potted plants have weight to them. They're very heavy, some of them, because you have the dirt there too, and you want a hook that's going to hold up, because you don't want to put, fire and kerosene on a flimsy hook. It's like a bomb. So you want to have a good sturdy hook, hanging that up. And so you find the hooks that will hold a lot of weight, and those are potted plant hooks. You can find them easily, usually at Lowe's or Home Depot. So look for potted plant hooks and hangers, quality ones. You can usually find those at the hardware stores. Probably you can find them on Etsy too. There's a lot of really cool blacksmith on Etsy. So you can find maybe a blacksmith on Etsy who sells those, and then support a small business rather than going to the big box stores. That might be something you could do. But yeah, I've seen them on Etsy. Okay. And the last question is this. Can you share where you purchased? Oh, no, I'm sorry. That was the last one. What are the best work clothes for the homestead? This does come up every so often. It's been asked before. What are the best work clothes? And it's these. Someone who has been in the military. I'm wearing them right now, actually. Ooh, these are the Air Force ones. Battle dress uniforms. Battle dress uniforms. Because they are made, they're heavy duty. They're built, they said they were brand new, but there's a tiny little hole there. I don't think it's brand new. It does look new, though. The tags are almost... No, it doesn't look new. Maybe. I don't know. There's a tiny little hole there, but it's okay. It's like a little nick in the fabric. I ordered these on eBay. You get them on eBay, usually used most of the time, but this one was labeled as new. So I was kind of like, huh. But it looks nice. It's got the new camel pattern for the Air Force that they use. I thought, yeah, I'll get some of those. The digit pattern. I forget this is called ACUs, not BDUs. This is ACUs. No. No, these were ACUs. What are these called? I forgot what the Air Force is called. Anyway, they call theirs something different. Army has BDUs. That's what we had when I was in the Army. And now they have ACUs, and this is something different. I'm not sure. ABUs. Yeah, ABU. Yeah, ABU. I saw it in the comments. But yeah, these things are amazing at working on the homestead. These will outlive a pair of jeans like forever. a pair of jeans cannot stand up to these things. It's got ripstop cotton in them. And there was a time where I was actually chainsawing, and the chainsaw got away from me. And I wasn't wearing my chaps. And this stopped the blade. This stopped the blade. These things are hardcore, heavy duty. These pants are amazing. The ripstop cotton that they make these out of, the weave that they use to make these is amazing. Now the chainsaw that I was using wasn't going full bore, but it was slowing down. But it caught my leg, and if I was not wearing these, I would have had probably a good gash. I always wear chaps now. I always wear chaps. If I'm going out there and I'm doing something crazy, I always wear chaps. But if I'm just going to be cutting something simple, like I'm not going to be cutting anything, like I'm not going to be out in the woods, whatever. I was up on like a bucket of a tractor up high, and yeah, you can imagine. I should have been wearing chaps. But if I'm going to do something simple, I feel really comfortable with these because they will stop a chainsaw blade if it's not going full bore. If the chainsaw gets away from you. I've seen it happen to me. I've seen it. So it's amazing material, and they will outlast anything you have in the Homestead. The other one I have is a new pair of ACUs. They said new. Let's see. It's new. It looks pretty new. Pretty good. Oh, it's got tags on it still. Yeah, I love these ripstop cotton clothes. Actually, it's supposed to be a 32. That looks big. It says waist 31 to 35. Okay, I just told you all my waist. It's got drawstrings. So the other ones I had didn't have drawstrings. Must be new or something. So I guess that's why you can cinch them in. The other ones used to have like these little straps here on the side you could pull back on the BDUs. But anyway, there you go. ACUs, ABUs, BDUs, whatever's made of ripstop cotton. Okay, the best work clothes you can have on the Homestead. They will outlast a pair of jeans by far. You'll wear out jeans. I don't wear it. Guys, the jeans that they sell today, you know, Wranglers or Levi. I don't know about Levi's. I don't buy Levi's because they're so anti-gun. So I won't buy Levi products. But I buy Wranglers. And the Wrangler jeans that they sell today ain't the Wrangler jeans that they sold, 10 years ago. They're just not. I don't think that they're very high quality anymore. And, I would not wear them out working. People used to always work on the Homestead, the ranch, and they, the cowboys, they wore jeans, right? I wouldn't today. I mean, not unless you're buying some kind of really high quality designer jeans out there that they made them back. I don't know. Again, I don't know what Levi's is making, but if I'm going to work out there and I know I'm going to be doing some hard work and I'm going to be working on the rocks and, working in the timber, ripstop cotton. Yeah, I'm going to be going through all the briars and the BS that's out there. This, by far. Yeah, jeans today are very poorly made. They're not Zach for president. Yeah! I hate jeans nowadays. I like wearing jeans. I just don't think they're made with the same quality that they made with before. They just don't have it, in my opinion. You can buy it military surplus. Yes, you can buy it military surplus. But see, there's so many guys that ETS out of the service. They just put their stuff on eBay as used, and a lot of times some of the stuff is brand new. You can get it pretty cheap on there. Yeah, I hate jeans now. They said. I'm not sure about Dickies canvas jeans. I think I have seen those. I know Dickies usually makes pretty good stuff. Levi used to be the best. Well, I stopped shopping Levi years ago when they went all anti-gun on me. I couldn't deal with it anymore. Oh, April and Ray, you were one of the questions I did today. I'm sure I'm just now looking at the chat. Yep. Land's End. Yeah, I think Jamie had some of those. All skinny jeans. Yeah, I know. Everyone's wearing skinny jeans. That's another thing. What in the world is wrong with you? Yeah. I have a lot of Air Force pants I can send you. Yeah, if they're 32s, I don't want any, I don't want anything bigger than that. Made in America. Roundhouse bibs. I've never heard of them either. Yeah, live jeans are stretchy now too. I can't stand that. I don't know what it is. All right, guys. So let me remind you, if you're in Northwest Arkansas, or if you are in Southwest Missouri, you want to go ahead and head over to patreon.com/AnAmericanHomestead, become a patron. Link is in the description below. You can click on that and watch that video on where to get your rabbit manure. Right now, the winter time, this is the time to be working on your garden, getting your garden ready for next spring. If you wait till the springtime, all the prices go up. It's hard to find the rabbit manure in the springtime because all the gardeners are going over to this place and getting it. And so this guy's got a ton of it right now. If you're interested, go over to our Patreon account. Link is in the description below. Watch the video, contact this guy, and get your scoops. I can put 2 scoops of his bucket in my truck. It'll hold 2 scoops. It could probably hold 3, but my back end on that truck was like, I better not do 3. I think I did do 3 once. But no, I'll just do 2. I do 2 scoops, and that covers almost my whole garden. And so I'm going to go get another load this week, probably Sunday or something, and get some more and put that on the garden as well, another place. He's got plenty right now, but now's the time to get it. In the wintertime, don't wait until spring because it's hard to find. Everyone's out there trying to get stuff on their garden. And I want to do it now because the way the world's going, you don't even know you don't know what's going to happen in like the next few months. I want my garden primed and ready to go right now. Also, I'm going to be buying some ground cloth to put on my garden this year. I'm going to follow... I've been doing the lasagna layering, and I'm still doing lasagna layering. I'm still putting all that stuff down, but I'm going to do the ground cloth like Living Traditions Homestead does on YouTube, and I'm going to use their affiliate link to buy it. So maybe I can give a shout out to them. They helped us out when Jamie got sick. They delivered like 50 tomato plants or something like that to us, and some peppers and some other stuff too. And so now that I'm going to be doing my garden coming up this spring, I'm going to go over to Living Traditions Homestead. I'm going to watch their ground cloth video. They have a link, an affiliate link where you can buy, and they get a little bit of a kickback too. So when that time comes, I'm probably going to buy it on video and then share that with you guys so that I can give them a shout out and kind of repay them for the blessing that they gave me. I really appreciate what they did during that time. So your beard is looking strong and yet set apart. All right, guys, check us out. Again, patreon.com/AnAmericanHomestead. I really appreciate you being here, and we will see you guys next time. Leave a like. Don't leave before leaving the like. Hit the like button. Also, Stupid Hurt shirts, link in the description below, and I believe there's a link above the chat as well. So, Tanis, thanks for the super chat. I really appreciate it. Thank you. I appreciate it. We'll see you next time on An American Homestead. Bye.